What's going on, A pluses, nerd mixers? It's your boy Indy Uchiha, and I'm here with my main I'm here with my main man, Stewart Turbo Stu 01.
What is up?
And yo, Miss Marvel. I stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning. I waited on the debut, and I was iffy. I was really iffy about this. I have been following the young actress and actually loving her love for the source material and everything she was doing. They did an amazing job, especially the 2 weeks before this episode dropped, in promoting, you know what I'm saying, this episode the right way, dropping pictures of her cosplaying as Miss Marvel, and now she gets to be Miss Marvel, and just the different interviews with the actors and actresses in this show. And for what it was a great episode one, man.
Yeah, I fully agree. One thing I also love, like going back to the promotional aspect of the show, is that they actually did air this episode in very select theaters across, I believe in Pakistan or India. I don't remember. It might have been both, in fact, actually. But regardless, it's pretty cool because I think this is the first MCU show to do so, and it's something that I've been saying like the MCU shows should be doing, for a while now. Because I mean, they've been doing these kind of events for like Doctor Who and other television shows out there. So why not for the MCU shows? Because those are like some of the biggest hits right now, and I feel like it'd be kind of a really cool way to promote Disney Plus. Just air the first 2 episodes in theaters, and then just kind of like say, hey, if you want to watch more, subscribe to Disney Plus. I feel like marketing wise, it'd be too genius not to.
Yeah, I'd definitely get you on that. I mean, they did it with the Inhumans. Like, they aired the whole first 2 episodes or something like that of Inhumans in theaters, and different shows like that. And to me, this show right here, the production value behind this show is, like we brought up behind the scenes. This feels like it could have easily been like a movie. Like, whether it was a movie in the theater or one of them straight to Disney Plus movies, you know what I'm saying? Like an hour and 45-minute rock with, Miss Marvel. But I really like the episodic nature of what they're doing with this. It kind of feels like, to me, it takes from different television shows, you know what I'm saying, that I grew up watching. From, it still has the comic book feel with the transitions, but all the colors and stuff, everything just seems like it keeps your attention while you're watching. Even if you get a little bit bored, something's going to snap and flash across the screen to catch your attention, to get you focused back on what's happening.
Yeah, and that's something that really impresses me about this. So this show, much like most of the Marvel shows out there, clearly has a pretty decent sized budget, and I love the way that budget is utilized in the episode because, for some of the other Marvel shows out there, oftentimes they really want you to know right off the bat that this is a big budget show, and they have like usually a big action scene to really show that off. So, like for example, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we started off with a big bang, but with this, what I love about it is that they really want to like take their time with introducing the characters first, making sure they give you a lot of reasons to really appreciate the characters that we're introduced to, whether it's her 2 best friends, or the teacher that clearly is really trying hard to help her, even though it's I can totally get like how working with kids with ADHD can be extremely frustrating as a school counselor, and seeing like the way he interacts with her, I thought was just absolutely brilliant. So I love that they're able to have this very grounded element to the show, but they're still able to show you that this show isn't going to be like, just a simple high school comedy. We got like animation throughout the entire episode. Her imagination is going wild, and we feel like we're kind of inside her mind the entire time because they like physically show us like what her imagination is looking like through like these cool animation clip or animation, like I don't know what you'd call it, but like visuals that would be on screen, kind of representing a lot of things that she's thinking of. A lot of subtlety in it too. Like one example I absolutely love is just, you have the school counselor mentioning something about, saying like, it feels like we're like split in 2 different areas. And then right there, you have this really cool editing effect where suddenly like, it's like a split screen with the 2 of them. And it kind of like is as if they're trying to show you, like simple words, can cause her mind to wander off, And I love that because that was totally me in high school. Like, like the way her imagination will just wander off from just the smallest things. If it's not something that's gonna catch her like interest immediately like that, her mind is gonna wander off. And that was totally me in high school. And I love the way
Right.
that's represented. And then the other way, also, kind of going off that same thing is I love again, going back to the budget, the way it's utilized. We don't have like a big action set piece. We don't have anything like that. But what we do have is like, again, going back to her imagination, she talks about this escape plan that she has, from, leaving her parents' house, trying to go to AvengerCon, and they show off her imagination. And that's where they kind of utilize the budget and showing off some cool action scenes that aren't really happening in the show, but they're happening inside her head. And it's kind of a way to kind of give you a tease of what we can actually expect going forward with the kind of budget that the show has. But yeah, I think like as an introduction to what we can expect later on, this has me hooked more than any of the other Marvel shows that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, and before we start getting to the breakdown of like what actually happened in the episode, I do want to say that the hype behind this show is probably the least out of any of the Disney Plus shows that we had. It's the first one that isn't dark and dreary as well. When it comes to it, and I'm ancient, like I'm old. I am not the target demographic, you know what I'm saying, for Miss Marvel, but that didn't stop me from being able to love everything that I saw, in this first episode, and how it just got me into what's coming on, because we went directly from like a dark, complex setup from Moon Knight to Miss Marvel, which is mostly like wholesome. You know what I'm saying? If you compared the two, so I'm all for it. And honestly, for my award or my money or whatever it may be, this is the best Disney Plus pilot I've seen.
Yeah.
And I've watched them all. So they're learning something.
Yeah, like not only do I agree with that, but like I'm gonna go as far as to say this. With how much I really enjoyed this pilot, I really feel like if this show keeps up this momentum that we got in this first episode, this could potentially be my new favorite Marvel show. Possibly even beating Daredevil out, depending on what direction they decide to keep taking the show into. But I think again, going back to the characters, I think that's one thing that this show does really well. Because again, kind of like what you were saying, like we're a bit older, so we're not exactly the target demographic. But I think like the fact that they make it kind of clear what kind of audience that they're going for, and the fact that it's kind of a story that I feel like a lot of people can kind of relate to, in the sense of, oh yeah, I remember going through kind of something like this back when I was in high school, whether it be, the ADHD aspect about her character, or whether it be like the, overprotective parents, or just, even just the discourse between, the kid and her parents. Like, you know, even though I personally never had like, the most overprotective parents, of course, like every kid, I of course got into arguments with my parents. And what I love in the show is like, they don't necessarily try to make the parents look like they're bad people or anything like that. They're just, very much, they grew up in a very different environment. And of course, they don't want to see their kid, go through the same struggles that they had to. So they try to like plan out their kid's life, thinking that they're giving her everything that, any kid could possibly want growing up, without like really taking the time to like actually understand what it is that the kid wants in life, and how to help her achieve those kind of goals, you know what I mean? And I think that's like a discourse that every kid can relate to having, at least at some point in their life, with their parents.
Yeah, and it definitely put the Indian Muslim culture, what I'm saying, up front, in not in a negative way, but showed how an American born raised, what I'm saying, like teenager could conflict with, what I'm saying, the ideology or the ideals of what their parents, what I'm saying, might have for them, who are more attached to, what I'm saying, their culture, and believe something should be done one way. And the daughter, who's doing nothing wrong, what I'm saying, but just has different dreams on what her life should be, instead of having her life planned out for her. That is a trope that has been done in television for years. regardless of what you believe in, or you know what I'm saying, the type of person you are. But why does it work so well, you know what I'm saying, encased inside this show?
Mm. I think, with a lot of other shows that try to do something like this, like a lot of sitcoms specifically try to address this kind of a trope, but the problem is that a lot of the decisions that go into it, and I'm not saying like all the writers are the ones that are responsible for this. It's probably more than likely the producers who think they're more hip and down with the kids these days. They're the ones kind of like saying, okay, so these are the aspects we want to see about the kids not being able to relate to their parents, but they're always over exaggerated and always like over the top in a way that like no kid would actually be able to directly relate in that sense. But this feels like it's so funny because people like give Marvel shit for having like a very specific formula, like it's always by the numbers type of things, and yet a show like this really feels almost like one of the most genuine, like it feels like it handles this trope in the most genuine way that I haven't really seen done this well anyways. Like, I'm not saying like other shows haven't done this trope well before, or movies for that factor, but I'm saying like this is just one of the most genuine ways they've approached that trope, and it really does feel like there wasn't studio interference when it came to the writing aspect. It really felt like you had a writer that really had something to say, and she was given the full creative control to say what she wanted to say, and to talk about whether or not her childhood was exactly like the childhood that we see in Miss Marvel. It definitely feels like it comes from some like area of truth.
But I mean, even the show felt like it was casted perfectly for me.
Oh yeah.
Yusuf Khan, Maniba Khan, mom and dad, to her brother, to even her best friend Bruno. Like, everybody is cast perfectly. Even like you said, like the guidance counselor or whatever he was. Like, he just seemed perfectly cast for that moment, for that time they had on screen. And with the little time that everybody had, they made even the aunt or whatever that came in to talk about somebody having an end to their divorce, their engagement or whatever, and she's going romping around Europe with somebody. Like, everybody used the time they had on camera very well to, in each moment, actually push the story forward rather than just being a throwaway moment.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Every scene built on the previous. Every scene was there for a very specific purpose.
mm-hmm. So let's get into the opening. For one, the weekend blinding lights, it goes perfect over everything. I don't care what it is. You can do House of a Thousand Corpses opening scene and have blinding lights playing, and it's going to work. But going from like the Marvel stamp with blinding lights playing, and to her talking over it about her love for the Avengers, specifically Captain Marvel, and the exaggeration on what Captain Marvel did that day in Endgame, is interesting to me, especially with the backlash that Captain Marvel got in that movie for what she was able to do, and the way she's explaining it, is from a fan's perspective, and is the exact same way a fan of Captain Marvel would explain that scene, and it's just really dope. And showing her love for superheroes, and just like the video game they had coming out, you're getting the AvengerCon, or you know what I'm saying, the huge Comic Con they're having to celebrate the Avengers for the first time that she's going to go to. They even teased her dad going with her like he did, you know what I'm saying, in the game. I'm like, are they just taking the video, like the whole first part of the show? I thought they were just taking the video game plot and they was gonna run with it. But I felt like it was a great homage to all the content that we had got, you know what I'm saying, beforehand, summed up into like the first 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. Something really funny, and I feel like this was definitely done on purpose, I'm pretty sure. But something I thought was so funny about, the mom being very much against her dressing up as Captain Marvel, trying to claim that, that she has too much of a skin tight outfit and it's like very scantily clad type of thing. It was hilarious to me because when Captain Marvel's first images dropped on the internet, people would you had a lot of I'll call them the neckbeards trying to be like, oh nope, she's not sexy enough, she needs to be sexier to be a real Captain Marvel. So it is kind of funny, having the mom complaining about her being too sexy in this. And then the other thing I thought was freaking hilarious is the fact that neither of the parents could see the kind of hypocrisy in the idea of no, you can't dress as her because she shows too much skin or too much of her body and that kind of stuff. But then they wanted her to dress up like the Hulk, who literally is a shirtless dude with shorts that are torn, and I thought that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I think that was perfect. I think they could have went with anything, but picking the Hulk was, like you said, a total contradiction to what they were saying before, and was very, very interesting to me. And even the friend dressing up like the classic Miss Marvel, you know what I'm saying, like the skin type with the blonde hair, I feel was a callback to that earlier conversation they had, you know what I'm saying, when they got there. But the parents definitely don't understand the kid. The brother, it can do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? No matter what he does, and you kind of feel like women, and for them are devalued a little bit. Like you're meant to be a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like you're meant to be a housewife and stuff like that. Why don't you want to be like me? I have your whole life planned out for you to be, you know what I'm saying, something big. And I don't even think Kamala knows what she wants to be, but she knows she wants to make her own choices.
Yeah.
So and her having idol in Captain Marvel, especially with her even talk about, oh, she left the planet to go save, you know what I'm saying, more you know what I'm saying, like to save the galaxy, when she should have been there for everything else that goes on, and her defending that, her not being able to defend that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like just don't. Well, some people would say, and that was really cool to me because it felt honest. It felt real. And I think that's why I think she's in touch with this character because of her knowledge of the source material and her love for it. And it's going to go a long way compared to a lot of actors and actresses we see that get into roles but learn the character afterward. And I think that's the difference I feel between like a Stargirl and a Miss Marvel. Is I feel that the people that are in this Miss Marvel show, like everybody has loves what they are doing and has a love for what they were doing. Whereas Stargirl has amazing actors and actresses in it. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of them might not be in touch with the source material as well as the people on this show are.
Yeah, and I think it helps that because Marvel is such an established universe, what makes it so easier for the characters to relate to themselves is that they can literally play the fanboys and fangirls that they are like in real life on screen. And that's what you see a lot of with Kamala. Like the actress playing her clearly is a really big Captain Marvel fan. I mean, Miss Marvel fan as well, because she dressed up as Miss Marvel for Halloween before she was ever cast as Miss Marvel. So the fact that she gets to kind of play that part of her personality out in the screen, I think it's what really makes her performance feel like she's a real person and not just a fictional character there to move the plot forward.
It gives off Into the Spider-Verse vibes to me, like when you're watching it. That's what it feels like. It feels like Into the Spider-Verse, but it has the content to keep adults interested, like the 90s X-Men. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. It's real life issues, but it's marketed towards, you know what I'm saying, kids. So yeah, I rock with it. And like the great Kevin Smith always says, and I can guarantee you when they review this show, he's gonna say it reminds him of Degrassi.
You know what? I am actually pretty sure you're right about that, because he does bring that up a lot. And because he grew up with heck, he was actually in Degrassi The Next Generation. He grew up like watching the 80s Degrassi and all that. So yeah, I could totally see him making that comparison. And just in general, I could kind of see that comparison working really well. So as much as I love Spider-Man, you know, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, you know, the high school aspect about it, you know, even though they do a decent job for what we're given, it really does kind of more think, it really does feel more like an afterthought. Really, it's more about let's make a superhero movie, and then, you know, we're going to figure out the high school stuff afterwards. They do a good job with it, don't get me wrong, but it still does feel like the high school elements do kind of come second. This is like the opposite. This really feels like the high school elements, and then the character herself is really what they thought of before. It almost feels like they wanted to know how to make a good high school comedy that you can relate to, or high school dramedy, however you want to word it. How do we do that first? And then now that we got that established, how do we, you know, put her into a superhero situation? How do we, you know, make her a superhero so that she can, you know, be part of the bigger picture of the MCU?
Yeah, and they're doing a great job of that. I think they didn't rush her. Like I was reading some reviews and somebody they felt like they rushed her into her powers too quick. I thought that it was the perfect scenario for her powers, you know what I'm saying, to manifest in the way that they did, especially waiting to the end of the episode before shadowing it with the delivery of the bangle that she got, you know what I'm saying, beforehand. That was really dope to me. And this friendship, possibly blooming relationship between her and her friend Bruno. I don't know what's going on there, but that just feels amazing because you know what I'm saying? He's ride or die for her, but it feels like it's something else there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's coming from her end, but it really feels like from his end that he's doing this all for a reason. And the boy is smart, technologically smart. I knew that from the first time he rolled up and he sat his bike and it said bike locked. And the fake Alexa that he made, you know what I'm saying, for Camilla's dad to control everything in the house. Yes. Kind of creepy because now I feel like he can just watch Camilla anytime he wants to. Kamala. So it's interesting to me, but of the other characters, which ones actually stood out to you?
Of all the other characters, I really want to say definitely agree with you on Bruno. Seems like a very loyal friend, and the vibe I kind of get from him is it seems like he at the very least is interested in her, but I don't think she's as interested in him in that way. But at the same time, I think he knows that and he respects her, you know, regardless. So he's not like trying to pursue her because he knows that she's not really interested in him. And it might be like, you know, one of those things where it's like, yeah, I know I'm never going to have you as a girlfriend, and that's totally fine because you know what? As long as I have you as a friend, I'm totally happy with that. You know, that's the vibe I personally get from him, and I hope that's what they kind of stick with. If not, then I'm also cool with a romance too. I don't know. I just don't want another oh, you don't love me, I guess we can't be friends anymore type of scenario. I get really annoyed with those tropes of we can't be friends because we're not together, you know, type of a thing. So I really like everything I've seen from his character so far. I also really do like the older brother who, you know, is trying to help and, you know, does a good job, but he also, you know, doesn't want to like, you know, necessarily leave that comfort zone of being the favorite child. It seems like he still wants to kind of hedge a little bit. You know, he wants to stay as the favorite child, but he doesn't also want to, you know, betray his sister or anything. That's why he does genuinely try to help her out when, you know, the parents say no to the best of his abilities.
Yeah, because the showrunner Bisha K is doing like an amazing job too. Because every show, like we said before, deals with like a paint by numbers like origin story. You know what I'm saying? That where they're having to deal with home life, you know, different stuff like this, and it's like eternal conflicts, home life, fantasies of what they want to be, and all that type of stuff. But I really feel like they keep the heart of a comic book. You know what I'm saying? While like keeping everything in a visually stunning manner in order to keep us enthused on what's going on. And nothing does that better than when you're actually writing characters the right way, giving them the dialogue they need. And I feel like either the actors are nailing these characters or the director picked the actors that were going to fit each role, you know what I'm saying, perfectly. Because Bruno hands down. Like this kid on the outside, like if you go follow his IMDb, look at his pictures, is nothing like this character, but it's totally is this character on screen. This the same thing with the parents. I think it's easy for the parents. I feel like they just walked into the show and they're just being themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they are with their children. But Kamala, this young lady, man, this young lady is going to do big things, even outside of Marvel. You know what I'm saying? If she continues on the acting thing, because she does this role perfectly, and it just got a little mix of, like I said, like Saved by the Bell, Degrassi, Into the Spider-Verse. It's like whoever is the way Miss Ali is writing this show makes you feel like she understands the best parts of television and is giving them to us. And this is at the episode 1. So we might come on here at the end of episode 2 and be like, the show is trash. But at least for episode 1, they're giving us everything we need. But the whole lead up of the episode is them trying to get to the AvengerCon because she wants to be in the Captain Marvel cosplay contest. It's a costume contest where they built the costume. A very good Comic-Con cosplayer costume, by the way. This isn't the run of the mill, we're just going to make a costume. This is very well put together. And how she has to lie to her parents in order to get there. And then the hilarity and the fun ensues. You know what I'm saying? On what's going to happen. So let's get into a little bit of that. What did you think about us actually being able to see her think out her plan, and then what happened when she actually enacted the plan?
That had to be like the most relatable part of the episode, because I feel like we all do that. Like, we imagine, if we're breaking the rules or we're doing something that's just out of our norm, out of our usual norm, we imagine it feeling so much more epic in our heads. And then when we actually play it out, it's just like, oh, well, it's just simply, as her friend puts it. So all this to say, you just want to take the bus there. It was just this giant, convoluted plan with the elements of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which I love that added bit of, like, having something. So, like, if the parents go near there, they can just have like a recording, say something. But it all kind of just comes down to, so you just want to take the bus there.
Yeah. And then the everything going wrong, her jumping out the window, the tree limb breaking, her falling, them not jumping on the bus because that was dumb to start off with. Them getting to the bus, and then the bus driver closing it. I don't know what bus driver would do this, but closing the door before she can get her bike on the bus. So now she doesn't have a bike. And
I would be pissed. I'd be like, no, my bike is out there. You are opening this fucking door.
And then what are the odds of my bike being there when I get back? And then he's like, oh, it's Jersey. It's Jersey City. Your bike is not going to be there when we get back. So you could tell how bad she wants this, because she just sat, and that wasn't a cheap bike. Nope. You know what I'm saying? She's sacrificing the bike. She's sacrificing everything to do what she wants to do. Get to the con. The con looks amazing, by the way. The entrance, everything, although it looks very cheaply thrown together. It looks like a group of friends got together and decided they wanted to throw a con at a warehouse on a limited budget. But then they ended up getting sponsorship from somebody, and they threw a little couple of pieces in there to like promote something that they were doing. So it looked like something like it should. It looked like it should with a first con. It didn't look like overdone or anything like that. Everything was just right when it comes to this. And then she gets the interaction with the former friend who now has issues because she has 80,000 followers or something like that, or 800,000 followers.
Something like that. And then it kind of made her, like you said, full of herself.
Yeah. So see the outfit she has. She ends up getting a little flustered because she looks at the girl and is like, wow, she looks amazing in the outfit she has on. She goes to the bathroom. The gloves that the little light up gloves that Bruno had lovingly made for her, so it looked like she was shooting protons, which after looking at some of them costumes on stage, without her powers, she was gonna lose. Without her powers manifesting, she was gonna lose that contest. But she ends up putting on that bangle, man, and for some reason that Bangle manifests her powers in a way that actually looks really good on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to call it. It's proto force or proto. I don't. It's supposed to be powers similar to cosmic powers similar to Miss Marvel, so it has to be something to do with celestial abilities or something like that. Like Celestials made something and infused power into it. I have no idea how they're going to explain this, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it like color wise, it comes off as like kind of the same cosmic powers that you see from Captain Marvel, but it's not destructive. It's more like it looks like it works more like the Green Lantern
Lantern
ring in the
ring.
same, like in the sense of it's like an extension of herself, and it's essentially like her imagination seems to be the limit. You know what I mean?
Head always in the clouds, always imagining about something. So why wouldn't her powers work like the willpower? You know what I'm saying, from a Green Lantern ring. That's a perfect way to explain that. Good
Oh
job.
my, oh my gosh! Actually, come to think of it, yeah, it would be kind of cool if we got her later on. If we got this kind of character later on in a DC like Green Lantern like character, because I mean they're making tons of Green Lanterns like every few years. There's a new one, so why not have a similar character to this? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
They rip off each other all the time. Just do
yeah.
it.
So what I really like about the convention is when we see her, old friend now kind of like they don't really talk to each other anymore because her friend got popular, that kind of trope. I do kind of like that cliche of, you have the character who, comes off as a certain way. It's really easy to judge them as being like a two-dimensional bully type of thing. But then you kind of see that there is more to themselves that they constantly feel the need to hide because, everyone expects them to act a certain way and they've kind of accepted like what people look at them like. And so it almost feels like, seeing her at this convention is like one of the few times where you get to see, who she truly is inside. Kind of similar to like how it's kind of funny because they do a Mulan reference earlier on in the movie, but I feel like that can also relate to, the popular girl in the movie. Like, who we see on the outside is definitely not who she is on the inside, because as we can see, everyone thinks that she's the kind of person that wouldn't be a nerd or a fan of this kind of a pop culture, but clearly that's not the case, as she's, wearing, one of the best looking Captain Marvel costumes that we see on stage.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought that was cool. I thought the seeing men dressed up as Captain Marvel too. The fact that, what I'm saying, you can be influenced as anything was real good. But when her powers activated, like all of a sudden, and the way she was able to use that, I'm guessing she won the contest, even though she almost killed everybody. I'm guessing because like my whole thing is you probably had to. This is what bothers me with television. 9 times out of 10, you had to sign up for the contest, so people know who you are. These power manifests called destruction. How do they not track you down?
Well, to be fair, I'll say this. Well, two things actually. One, it is a new convention. So there is probably a thing of a lot of times when you have a first convention, they go completely unorganized. And I could easily see them doing like a costume contest where it's just people walk on stage and that's it. No one really signs up for it. The other thing is that if that is the case, like she did have to sign up for it. Like, did you watch the mid-credit scene?
There was a mid-credit scene.
There was. There was okay. I don't want to spoil it completely.
No, I did the thing and like scanned it through. You could spoil it. I'm just gonna go back and watch it anyway.
We get a character, one who I didn't think we would see again because I honestly thought he was like literally just a one-off character from another Marvel movie. You'll hopefully recognize him as soon as you see him. But it looks like he's going to be the one to track her down. But it was a very interesting appearance because again, it was a character I didn't think we would actually see again. I thought it was like literally just he was meant to be a one-off character for one scene only, but it looks like he's going to play like a big role as an antagonist in the show. But yeah, she did sign up for it. Basically, what I'm saying is I feel like he's going to be the one to track her down and find out about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As I'm looking up the scene now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But another attention to detail I freaking loved in this was her Captain Marvel costume that we see her wearing for the costume contest. Because even though it looks really good, it also looks completely handmade, and it looks like a costume that an actual high schooler would have come up with. Like, it's definitely better than anything I could have come up with if I was trying to do my own cosplay costume. But it definitely looks like it was made by a high schooler, despite it being, incredibly impressive. So I love that there was that perfect balance of them not making it look too bad, knowing that high schoolers can be creative when they want to, but it doesn't look unrealistically impressive. It doesn't look like something that no high schooler could possibly pull off. Because, as much as I love the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, obviously, great movies. No high schooler would ever be able to make a costume like the one that Tobey Maguire makes in the original Spider-Man trilogy. No high schooler could ever come up with a design like that, or the expenses it would cost to like make said costume. What I love in this is that this looks exactly what a high schooler would come up with if they were, if they needed to make like a superhero costume, even if it is just for a convention.
That is an excellent callback in what they did. And that makes me now think that I'm pretty sure that Alyssa Reiner's Sadie Deaver is going to be partnered with him. That's what I feel like. Alyssa, people watch Orange is the New Black. She was the warden, you know what I'm saying, of the jail later in the season. And I think she was for majority of the time. And yeah, she's got a role in this show, and if that's the CCDC, I think she's gonna have something to do with that.
Yeah, because like she's either working for the FBI or SWORD, but regardless, it makes sense that she would want to work with another guy who I believe he was an FBI agent in Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. He wasn't. I thought he was an FBI agent, or was he a member of the Damage Control?
Oh, it might have been Damage Control. My bad.
Yeah, he's a member of Damage Control because he was trying to get Aunt May for child endangerment. I remember all that now. I got to go back and watch No Way Home. It's been a minute since I watched it because I forgot all that happened. Like until I saw the name, like I was watching the clip, and until I saw the name, I still couldn't remember. I saw the name, I was like, oh, like it hit me, and I was like, okay, that's smart.
Yeah,
that's smart. So the Spider-Man vibes are strong in this one.
Yep, indeed. But yeah, like I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed talking about everything. Yeah, I think we got everything. Was there anything else?
No, even with the mom, like waiting up for her when her climbing the window, she thinks she's home safe, and them even putting the time was supposed to get home at 9:30 real time, like 11:11, and her climbing in the door and then turn around and seeing the mom. How many shows have we seen that in? But I just felt like it was just pulled off excellent here. The disappointment, you know what I'm saying, in her face and stuff like that. Man, I really like this, to the point where she made her dad feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Calling him embarrassing and stuff like that. The man painted his face green, like his whole entire head green.
Yeah. It was really funny with the mom. The line that she used, like when she was about to say, bring up like a story about her aunt, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but the fact that Kamala was immediately able to like finish her mom's sentence, and that just, upset her mom even more, going, so you did this knowing that it was going to upset me. I swear to God, I have definitely had conversations like that with my folks at some point, during high school. Like, I feel like, that's like another thing. You try to act like you know exactly what your parents are going to say, thinking that it's going to make you seem smarter than them. But then they hit you with the, oh, so you knew this and you still did it anyways. And that's when you're like, oh, crap, that was a trap.
my 5-year-old, I was on the phone with her the other day and she hit me with it. Like, she knew exactly what I was going to say about something she did. And she was like, is that right, Dad? And I'm like, This is why Bart choked Homer. I mean, this is why Homer choked Bart. Why you little?
Why you little?
Yeah, that's why you always saw that. But we do not condone child abuse here on A+ Hero Report. It's just a funny callback to understanding how frustrated parents can be.
Yeah. And they're
So
cartoons, so we know that they're okay in the end because you can't hurt cartoon characters.
right. So it was a very, very good first episode, and I'm very looking forward to next Wednesday to seeing where this goes. This is a 6 episode season or 8 for Miss Marvel?
On IMDb, it says everyone's in 6 episodes, so I'm going to assume it's a 6 episode series. But IMDb has been wrong before, so it is possible that it might be like a 7 or 8 episode series.
All right, I'm looking for. I think this is one of them shows that could work as 8. You know what I'm saying? This could work as a small order of 10, like 12. This would have been perfect for like if they wanted to just do a regular run with this style of show. With the other shows, I don't think would have had enough staying power to go on that long. You probably could have told a better story with Moon Knight if you could have had a couple of more episodes and you didn't feel so rushed. But the other shows were perfectly timed in the time that they had. So I'm not going to knock them on what they were doing with that. I'm just letting them know if you made more episodes, I will watch.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd actually say like that's kind of like one of the I don't even know if I want to say it's disappointing, but it's like one of the things where it's like if this was a show that was made 10 years ago, so it would have had probably a 15 to 22 episode run. I feel like this would have been a really fun show to just see some of these characters go on one-off adventures because, a lot of people try to say filler like it's a bad thing, but a lot of times filler can work if you use, if it's well utilized for either developing the characters more or for just telling a really fun one-off story with these characters that we enjoy seeing. And I think that's like the one disappointing thing is just knowing that we're probably not going to get anything like that in this show. It's going to be telling one specific story that's going to have a beginning, middle, and end. And we're probably not going to get any of those one-off adventures that you would normally see in like, other like network television shows. It kind of feels like, very few shows do like kind of the cool in between where I feel like the 15 episode run is kind of perfect for a lot of superhero shows. It feels like most of them want to be like either a very limited series or the full on 22 episode a season series. And it's like, I wish more shows would try to go for that like perfect in between, kind of like what Netflix did, but try to like kind of embrace a little bit more of an episodic nature to it,
Yeah, I definitely get you because I think I would love seeing an episode of like a day in the life of mom, and you know what I'm saying, why she's all frustrated, or like what does dad actually do during the day, and just seeing like he does nothing and just comes home like he really doesn't like his home life, and he comes home and has to act like he loves his home life or something like that. But then like when he goes to work, he's just like the most miserable person ever, and he's like, I just gotta get out of it. Like stuff like that would be like good one-offs, but I trust Marvel where they're going there, and this is the way they're going with the television content. Man, I'm all for it. Now I'm excited to see I Am Groot. Now I'm excited to see the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like this. If this is the route that they're taking with it, as far as the entertainment that they're giving us.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
All right. So, guys, let us know what you thought about the episode of Miss Marvel. I think it was called, it's episode 1. I forgot what it was called because I don't pay attention to anything. I just watch it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It'll be in the title.
Mm-hmm.
Check out. Let us know what you thought about this episode today, guys. Leave your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the live viewer questions that Stuart has thankfully been answering, so I haven't been having to do it. We appreciate him for that. So make sure you go check those out too, and go check out the episode of Midweek Heel Report that we did yesterday because we had some big trailers and some big news drop. And until next Thursday, guys, keep it A+. This has been a Nerd Mix. Stuart, tell them where to find you at.
You guys can follow me at TurboStew01 over on Twitter or on Instagram. And of course, you can follow us here at A+ Hero Report.
Definitely. And with me at Nerd Mix Alpha everywhere. And we'll see you next week. We out.